What are you doing on Tuesday the 26th of September 2023? Because myself and Francesca Amber are coming to the Barbican Hall in London. Our event is called One Night Stand, and this one night event is all going to be about manifestation, crystal healing, and ridding your limiting beliefs to help you achieve your goals. We've curated an immersive experience that will leave you feeling inspired and empowered. Throughout the evening as well, we'll also have interactive exercises, we'll have empowering discussions, and the opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals on a similar journey towards personal growth and manifestation. There'll even be an opportunity for you to ask questions as well. This event is your chance to break free from the shackles of self-doubt and unleash your inner greatness. It's time to release those limiting beliefs that might be holding you back and step into your true potential. And if you want to come on your own, by all means do that. Single tickets are available and seating is totally unreserved, so you can even meet up with your spiritual friends and sit with them as well. Head to @CannyCrystals on Instagram and click the link in my bio. Tickets are limited, so secure your spot and be part of this transformative experience. Don't miss out on the chance to manifest your dreams and achieve your goals. We can't wait to see you there. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Canny Crystals, the podcast. I hope that you're all well. As you know by now, my name is Mart. I'm your host, and today I'm chatting with spiritual mindset, manifestation, and abundance self-proclaimed queen, Jack Scott Lee. Jack, how are you?
Hi, Queen with a K. Yes, I'm really
Queen
good,
with a
thank
K, indeed.
you.
How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. I
Good,
remember we
good.
talked about scheduling this in, and I was like, yeah, we'll do it today. It's going to be a full moon on my sun. It can either go two ways, but looking into it, you were talking about the Lionsgate portal and being in Aquarius and all this sort of stuff. So this is about connections, about friendships, about community. So I thought actually it would be a great day to do it, So, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm just glad to have you here as well. So, Jack, do you just want to start by kind of introducing yourself to the listeners? Just tell us a bit about your spiritual journey and how you are where you are today.
Yes, so my spiritual journey, I guess like a bit like yours, there's been like all throughout my life moments of contrast, which have kind of like reaffirmed and strengthened my spiritual beliefs. So like growing up, I was always really different to my peers, my community, growing up as a British Asian guy, a gay guy as well, and I was always really different into like, alternative music, how I look, how I dress. And I was very much into like tarot and astrology because my grandparents and their parents were very much spiritual too. And I really got into it through that really. I just really exploring it through there and wanting to like not fit in so much, but just be me and do me. And alongside that, just being really spiritual too. So I was really much into tarot and astrology growing up, and obviously coming from an Asian background, it wasn't really the done thing, especially as a British Asian, and my parents were really like, not strict, but they wanted me to, either be a solicitor or a doctor. I was like, well, I don't want to be that. I want to dance. I want to create. I want to be spiritual. I want to be tattooed and I was really vibrant as a child. And my light was so bright, I didn't want to dim that for anybody really, And I had a lot of contrast growing up. I left home very early. And, I just went about living my life, and I became a hairdresser at first, being of service still in a different kind of way and becoming really successful with that as well. I had my own business, made a ton of money, and with that, I was living this whole, what I thought I should be doing. Because we should be doing, we should be settling down, we should be buying a house, we should be all these tick lists. I was doing all the things, and I was just not happy. I was like, I'm doing all this stuff, but I'm not happy actually. I'm making a ton of money. I've got a gorgeous car, house, boyfriends, all this sort of stuff. And actually, deep inside, I was unfulfilled. I wanted to dance, I wanted to do something which is more than, and I was meeting like these really incredibly rich people who was doing their hair and stuff. And I was like, well, I just don't feel fulfilled. I was being of service, giving so much of myself to people, and yet not feeling nourished myself. You know what I mean? And like through that, I was reading the Secret, Law of Attraction, printing off my check and writing how much I wanted, and not like getting too deep with it because I wasn't really savvy with it yet. Do you know what I mean? And then I'd met some really cool people who I'd become friends with, and I was like every weekend I was partying away, meeting loads of people, and living this lifestyle, which I thought was going to, which I was supposed to be doing. And actually, I was surrounded by people that were not on my level, not my wavelength, or yes people, and I was just like, just living each day to day. And then one of my dearest friends, a really close friend of mine, suddenly passed away of cancer, and it kind of hit home to me that she was someone who I really looked up to and was really, one of my close friends, and she was very much about, be true to yourself, live true to you, don't give a shit about what anyone thinks, you're only here once, and she died really young, and after that I was like, you know what, we're not untouchable, bad things happen to everybody, it doesn't matter if you're good or bad, we're all human, and we're not exempt from life, and after that I was like, you know what, we're here for a short time, but I want to do what lights me up. So I was like, I want to be a dancer. I don't care how old I am. People tell me, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. People tell me, no, all throughout my life, And I was like, well, I don't hear no. I don't want to hear no. I want to hear how I can do it. How can I make this happen through, and without subconsciously realising, I was visualising all the time, manifesting through my thoughts, and yes, I can do it, because no one can tell me no. No is only your limitation of how you want to visualise it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I jacked in this perfect lifestyle of stunning house, car, money, partner, jacked it all in, moved to Ibiza to find myself, and took all my crystals, all my stuff, and started to I'd spoken to me about a dance audition, and people saying to me, at your age, you can't do that, you're crazy, you're having a breakdown. I was, well, maybe I am actually. And so anyway, I'd messaged someone I'd met at a dance class, and she was like, yeah, I'm here already, I'm having a great time, you can stay on my sofa, it's not as glamorous as your house, but I'd arrived, and within like a week, I'd gotten all the auditions I wanted to go to. I'd confirmed all my dance jobs, and I'd met some amazing people. And before you knew it, a month later, I was living like in this stunning penthouse overlooking the ocean. And this is like to say that there was loads of moments of breakdown. There's a lot of tears, a lot of because people think, oh yeah, I want to manifest all this great stuff, which of course you can. But as you know, with that comes shadow work and releasing like parts of you that are no longer serving you anymore. And when you reach for your goals and your dreams and your desires, it's about letting go of your old story and being uncomfortable. And with that becomes this uncertainty, this doubt. There's like, shit, where am I going to go next? Because we don't know the answer all the time. You have to just trust the universe and go forwards. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, so it sounds like you've had quite a lot of limiting beliefs there, like placed on you from other people as well.
Yeah,
people
definitely.
telling you, you're not able to do that. You can't be a dancer. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So how do you overcome those limiting beliefs? What is it that you do? Because you said that you kind of just released it and let it like go, basically. But how do you overcome those limiting beliefs?
I think looking back now, all the things that I've done, I wish I'd done them sooner, but of course everything happens in divine timing, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, so that's your story. And when I was listening to other people, other people's opinions, of course they want to keep you safe, your friends, your family, they just want you to be okay and be safe because they don't want you to be hurt, of course, And people have their own interests, your partner, for example, and your friends, whatever. And actually, ultimately, no one knows what's right for you apart from you. And deep down, you know that too. But we're so conditioned to be like, okay, well, I want to keep the peace. I don't want to upset my partner. I don't want to piss off my friends. I don't want to earn more money than my parents, And we learn all these stories about money, confidence, what you deserve from people who didn't know any better because their parents didn't tell them any better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like, actually, you get to write your own story, and you can change your own story any time. I've rewritten my story, my chapter, whatever, like all the time. And sometimes I look back thinking, oh, do you really want that? I can change my story. You know what I mean? That's fine. Like, you don't need to be. I always say I want to make these t-shirts saying I'm a recovering perfectionist. Because everything has to be perfect. Well, that's so boring.
Yeah.
I want to look back at my life and everything was perfect to the end.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Because actually, we're not here to be perfect. We're here to learn, make mistakes, and through that, we become who we're supposed to be. And there's plot twists all the time. And so when you're asking me about your spiritual journey, I feel like whenever there's been contrast and darker moments or, despair or whatever, sounds really dramatic, that's when my spirituality has been even more affirmed, because that's when you get to practice it, So, when everything's going great, oh yeah, law of attraction, amazing, 111, 1111, actually that's great, of course. But, your faith really is when the chips are down, and that's when it really counts. I think, when you actually really, when the universe is like, oh, you surrendered, but you need to surrender some more.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I always do that, yeah.
Have you let go? I don't think you've let go enough yet.
So, Jack, are we okay talking about what happened to you some years ago? Because I know you had a near-death experience, didn't you?
That's right, yeah. And it wasn't until years later that I realised how significant it was. But yeah, so I was, and then I remember the day I woke up, I was like, oh God, I really don't want to go into that. I don't want to do. I just had something inside me thinking, I just don't want to go into. I don't want to do what I'm doing. And I felt really guilty because, you know what, I'm doing all these things. I'm leaving my purpose, leaving my dream. I've given up my old business. I've put that to bed. My new story. I'm living my best life. I've manifested a dance studio. I've manifested a dream career. And yeah, and I thought, you know what, even when you're living your dream, you're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to have days where you need to rest. But at the time, I was like, go, 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 make loads of money, do all the things. I should be so grateful, which I obviously am. But, you know, we have to honour that just because you're living your purpose. You're allowed to actually not want to do it 24/7 as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, that day I had like a show rehearsal for a show. And if people don't know, I'm a professional pod dancer and circus aerialist. I get paid to fly around in the air on hoops, silks, flying poles, trapeze, all these things, poles, what have you. And I was doing a rehearsal on the hoop, and the act I've done it millions and millions of times with my eyes closed, you know, nothing, and I just landed really funny, and I literally landed on my neck and broke my neck. And I think when it happened, I didn't think that I'd broken it at all. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be fine. My friend was like, you have to get this checked out. I was like, and this is about, again, hustle culture. I'm a Capricorn moon. We're all about money, money, making money, being of service, you know, going after your goals, and very much about, you know, getting down to business, my Cap moon. And then so we got into the hospital, and I was like, look, this has happened. You know, it's not a big deal. I'm really busy. I've got a show to do. Got this, and they were like, just stunned. Like, I was just fell off a hoop backwards, doing a backflip, and all this stuff, you know, landed on my neck. And I said, oh, it's a bit sore on my arms. My neck feels all right, as you can see. They're like, look, if you're actually okay, we'll let you go. So they'd scanned me and all this stuff, and they'd come back with dead serious. I was like, well, can I go? Because I've got loads to do this week. I'm so busy. I've got shows, comps, all this sort of stuff. Costumes, everything. You know, I haven't got time for this. It's a major inconvenience being here. It's a Friday night, you know. And they're like, hi, Mr. Scully, so you actually broke your neck. You can't, we're going to have to put you flat out. You're allowed to move on and get someone to put a neck brace on you. This is really serious. And I was like, shit, this sounds really serious. Everyone around me is really serious, you know. And my family just turned up, and they closed all the curtains. They were talking about me. I was like, why are you? You know, and I was like, why are you talking about me? Like I'm not even here. You know, I'm not dead. You know, I'm still here. And they were like, they couldn't figure out as to the damage that had happened to me, because they're saying you should be dead, but you're not. I was like, well, that's fine. Well, I need to be not here and alive, very much so, and so I can go back to my business. You know what I mean? And I had to wait for ages, like to sort of get specialists in, and I was not allowed to move. And I've gone from being so independent, so busy, doing all the things, you know, to literally lying here on the bed. I wasn't allowed to move. I was staring at the ceiling tile. And there was a moment of, oh my God, what's going to happen? And my sister, who is also one of my best friends, she said to me, all that, she said to me, I remember she grabbed my, she's so strong, she grabbed my arm, she went, all that shit that we believe in, this is your time to practice it. And she had to go because it was like, you know, visiting us, what have you. And I was like, yeah, she's right, you know. And that was it. I thought, well, yeah, we preached about, you know, I am this, I am that, affirmations and gratitude and, you know, visualizing and healing. And, you know, well, this is the time to do it. You know, I've got all the time in the world now. So, you know what I mean? And, yeah, so that night, I was lay in bed, and I had my Archangel Michael meditation music on, and I was just like sat there laying here on myself with the machine going off. All of a sudden, someone came into the room, and he's like, "Oh, are you? How are you? You're right. Do you want to go for a walk?" Because I'm not really supposed to move. But I'm an Aquarius. I'm a rebel. Of course, I'm going to move. So I got out of bed, and I looked back at the bed, and I could see myself. You know, and I was like, "Hold on a minute, what's going on?" You know. And he's like, I'm Archangel Michael, and I'm just come to let you know that everything's going to be fine. You know, like you've got so much work to do. This is not the end for you. This is just the beginning. Like he held me. He was like, you know, you're going to be absolutely fine. You know, you've got so much to give to the world that actually this is not even the end for you. This is so the beginning. You know. And we went for a walk and stuff, and came back into the room again, and I get back in my body, I suppose, you know. Yeah. And when I was starting to tell people, oh, you was really high in drugs, they're giving you all this sort of stuff. So I have not had anything at this point. I literally just got into hospital, you know what I mean? So, and that's when the work began. I started to listen to Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. I love that book, but listen to those times. And then she mentioned about citrine, how she used citrine to heal herself from cancer. Citrine, which I didn't realise is a really powerful healing stone, as well as self-love, self-confidence, all that sort of stuff. And I always used it for money in abundance. And so I was with my citrine, meditating, visualizing, healing health, visualizing myself back to health again, walking again, being able to move, being able to wash myself. And every morning I'd set a routine for myself to, okay, I'm going to set my alarm, I'm going to do my I am affirmations, I am healthy, I am well, do practice gratitude, all the things I'm grateful for, be thankful. And I was laughing and joking, made so many friends on the board. And in the end, they were like, you're so positive, but we're going to have to move you because you're in intensive care at the moment, and there's so many people with your injury is very serious. You're not able to move, but there were people around me who were not on that vibe.
Yeah.
And they moved me in the end just because I was having people visiting me. I was laughing a lot, I was joking a lot. I said, "Look, I'm lying here, being miserable and being angry and being upset isn't going to get me any better." Actually, it really isn't. What else can I do? So I was just focused on, okay, this is not my story. I'm going to get well. People say to me, I'm not going to be able to dance again, I'm not going to be able to walk again, this, that, and the other, And they moved me, and I didn't focus on that. I focused on, well, I'm going to get out of this bed, I'm going to walk, I'm going to be able to get back to my life and do even better things, And within weeks, they'd moved me to a specialist hospital, they'd found an amazing surgeon. And I'd had my surgery, and literally within 48 hours, I was walking back home again and doing back to my normal life. You know what I mean? They said to me, "You are amazing. You literally defied everything. You're literally a miracle. You know what I mean?" And but to me, it was like, well, this is just me doing me, living my life by the principles that I've always lived by, but just practicing them and showing other people to do.
That's absolutely mad that you had an out-of-body experience though as well, and saw yourself just lying there.
I talk about it so casually. I left my body, went for a walk, came back.
That's amazing. I didn't know it was so serious in terms of actually breaking your neck. Yeah.
Do you know what? When that happened, when I had that experience, I felt so at peace.
Yeah.
And so it is. And once he'd said that to me, and he appeared to me as as I envisioned it I've got these Archangel Michael cards, and he appeared to me in those images because I was doing cards all the time in hospital. I was doing my daily card of the day every day in hospital, every morning for my friends who are around me and stuff. And just keeping my vibe positive, you know what I mean? So when he appeared to me, I had no doubt, that everything's going to be okay, I really didn't. And then I was doing my meditation stuff, and I remember one night I'd woken up to my sleep, and I was surrounded by loads of little, it looked like loads of little lights. And actually, it was all loads of angels, and there was a Mother Mary figure at the end of the bed. And at first, it was kind of frightening, and then I said to my sister, "Can you order me some Mother Mary cards? I've seen some actually, because I had a vision on while I was lying here, and I feel like I want to do work with that. You know what I mean?" And so we got the cards and stuff for me, and I started to do a lot of healing work through that Archangel Raphael, doing all that sort of stuff, and. Actually, it's not until recently that I got back to working with angels again. I was reading. It was one of Emma Mumford's books, and she was talking about. I think it's Positively Wealthy. Actually, she had a day about angel work. I was like, oh my god, I haven't done that for such a long time. And we talk about spiritual practice and daily practice. It can change all the time. I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back into that again. And the last few weeks, I've been really getting back into working with angel energy, and I'm using my selenites. Connect to the angel energy again, because it's been such a long time, and it's been really cool. Yeah,
it is definitely something that I need to get into more detail about, because I don't really know much about angels and archangels, but it is definitely something that I'm really interested in.
That's kind of how it started, really, I suppose. And then that really got me through that whole chapter of my life, you know what I mean? And when he said to me about, this is the start for you, I was like, and when I look back now, I'm like, you know what, since that when that actually happened, spirituality became a massive part of my life. I created a whole morning practice, which included EFT, affirmations, visualizing my day, all this sort of stuff, and then manifesting not only a new business, a new house, a partner, all this sort of stuff. And actually, you know what, it was for a lot of people, this would have been the end. And people are, oh yeah, this has happened to you, this is the end for you, what are you going to do now? And actually I thought, well, this is not the end for me, this is the beginning, actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been like, I guess it's been like nearly 10 years now since that
Yeah,
happened.
it's good that you've turned it all around, though. Um, I noticed on your website as well, Jack, that you obviously work with astrology as well. So I just wanted to know, like, how you incorporate astrology kind of into your daily life practices, and how would my listeners go about like doing that kind of thing as well?
I love astrology is one of my huge passions. I do a lot of astrology readings for my clients to help them navigate their lives. Your birth chart is so personal just to you, and
Yeah.
it gives you so much information.
You know, I'm Aries in every single house.
I
Yeah, I'm
really,
triple
what do you know? Do you know
Aries.
your big? Do you know your big
It's
three? Your sun, moon,
triple
rising.
Aries.
Oh my
I know.
god! So you are in my seventh house. So this would be like relationships and like really like your seventh house. People always think your seventh house is always going to be your partner, but actually your seventh house rules things like all your relationships, whether that be through work, business, friendship, family. You know.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm a Libra rising, I'm an Aquarius sun, and a Capricorn moon. So I'm very much air. But yeah, I love reading people's charts and giving them advice because you have all these amazing
Yeah.
tools within
Yeah.
you that unlock, so much your hidden talent you're born with, and there's also stuff about your love language, your love style, your abundance activation. And I just love working with people's charts too. I worked with someone recently, and they came to me because they were like at a crossroads in their life. They're going through what we call a Saturn
Uh-huh.
return, if you don't know, your Saturn returns will be a time for you, where it can like really put you on the right path, or you go through a lot in Saturn return, to put you on the path you meant to be. And I said to my client, I said, looking at your chart, I feel like you should be doing this career, not the one that you're in, because you have an amazing fifth house, which also do with entrepreneurship. And have you ever thought about doing, working in this particular industry? And he was like, I would love to do it. I haven't got the guts to do it.
Mm.
I said, well, if you were to do it, I feel like you would really be abundant. You're working in the call center at the moment. That's great because you've got a really good third house for communication. However, you've got this amazing fifth house. If you set up your own business doing, and I said to me, something to do with working with your hands because there's Mars involved, there's Chiron, there's a lot, something to do with electricity and DIY. He's like, yes, I wanted to start my electrical company. And anyway, fast forward 2 years, he's now working with celebrities on tour with people like Florence and the Machine. He has loads of celebrities. He's on tour with loads of famous people now. He's making so much money. His life's completely changed. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
And this is just from having like a birth chart reading, and I love using astrology. For me personally, I love doing what we call a lunar
Yeah.
return. So you can look at your month every month and check out what's going to happen for you. And if you don't know how to do that, it's so simple. You can go onto a free website like astro.com or astroseek and put in your birth details. It'll give you your
Yeah.
chart. Obviously, if you want more information, you want to contact an astrologer like myself or somebody else to delve deep and give you your what we call a lunar return or a solar return. And your solar return will let you know so much information about your year ahead. I was working with a client recently, and they'd actually gone away for their birthday, and I thought, well, this will change your entire your solar return. And it worked out that even though they travelled across the world for their birthday, that they'd managed to almost manifest a similar chart. So I said, you're going to have like a really pivotal year because you've travelled all the way across the world for your birthday, and your solar return is going to be exactly the same as when you were in, your hometown, which is very, very
Yeah.
rare. So they're having like a really pivotal year where, they're going to be meeting like their life partner and changing careers and, having a really pivotal year. It's a great tool to have. I use astrology to plan my wedding date. We call it electional astrology to get the best day you can. If you want to be really superficial, I say to people, if you want to get your hair done, the best day to have your hair done is when the moon is in like Pisces or Libra or Taurus. Don't go when it's like, somewhere like Virgo. Virgo's okay, I guess. Or Capricorn or something like that, because you can do, it's a great time to beautify. At the moment, we've got Venus retrograde. So we're telling people, don't change your hair, don't get your Botox, wait till September, because, nothing new, wait till September if you can.
Yeah. I love it. So, in terms of the law of attraction, because I know you mentioned that at the start, and you're a big manifestor and things like that. What's one of the best things that you've kind of manifest, and what kind of tips do you have for all the listeners of using the law of attraction?
So with law of attraction, there's so many different ways you can do this, and I think it's like never ending or ongoing. So I say it's like something that you want to incorporate into your life. People say, "Yeah, I want to manifest £1 million," and they'll put it to the back burner. Oh, it hasn't worked. So I want to manifest my dream partner. I was working with someone on a coaching client, and they were like, "What am I manifesting my dream partner?" I said, "Okay, what are you doing? Are you practicing self love? Are you going? Are you leaving the house? Are you hoping they're going to break into your apartment? What are you doing?" And they were like, "Well, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not." And we joked about, okay, so for me, for example, before I met my partner and stuff, I wanted to go on this huge self-love journey where I was like loving myself and, nourishing myself and being there for myself. So I was like, take myself on dates, beautify myself, cooking nice meals for me, because, love starts from within. And I was saying to my clients, you're not leaving the house, you're going to bed in your Harry Potter pajamas, you're not doing your makeup. What are you telling the universe that you're not good enough? Or what are you waiting for? Wear your dress, buy the shoes, do the things that fill you up too, because ultimately, you want to love yourself before you expect that from anybody else, because your partner's not going to nourish you or fill you up. It's not their job to do that. It's your job to do that, actually. It's a never-ending task otherwise. You know what I mean? But as far as manifestation goes, I love to use every morning, and tell people like, oh, that's so boring, but being thankful and grateful every morning. I love to wake up. I tell them my voice recording on my app on my phone, and I'm not. Sometimes I write it, but I prefer to speak. I love to talk, and I will talk about all the things I'm grateful for. I'll record into my phone, into my voice notes, and then I'll talk about my day like it's already happened in past tense. So like today, for example, I said I had a gorgeous breakfast. I did my spiritual practice. I had an amazing interview with Mark from Plain Crystals. Everything went really, really well. We connected really cool. Everything went swimmingly well. I kept myself open to joy and abundance. And then I'll talk about manifestation like it's already happened. So my absolute certain future is that I have a stunning villa. I have gorgeous cars. I have a great family of millions of chihuahuas. My bank balance is absolutely, popping off, and talking about it, getting excited about it, because actually it's about the vibration of being in joy, of happiness, and being excited about your life and all the things in it already. Because then once you're in that vibration of feeling good, you're allowing the universe to actually co-create with you to allow more abundance in, because no matter, there's not going to be any amount of money in your bank account or any partner or any specific clothing label or perfume or food or whatever it is. It's going to make you happy if you're not happy where you are now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get to choose that joy now. And I was talking about when I was in hospital, I was choosing to be joyous and grateful in that moment, because there's going to be things happening to you every single day. Whether you believe in gratitude, law of attraction, what have you, shit's going to happen all the time, and it's up to you how you navigate that, how you respond to it. And I think that when you're, like yourself, preaching about positivity, gratitude, law of attraction, and feeling good, we have the absolute right to do that. And that's not to say you're exempt from feeling like, feeling like rubbish. Like, for me, especially with the lunar cycles, when we have a full moon, I do feel low vibe, I do feel tired, I don't want to talk to anybody, I just want to, just switch off. But then I do have the tools to be, okay, that's how I feel right now, what can I do to make me feel better? So this morning, for example, I knew I was a bit tired and stuff, so I had my favourite playlist. I was playing, I think I was talking about it in the community about how I feel good. So I was playing my Immaculate Collection, Madonna, dancing around the house, doing my makeup, getting in a vibe, getting my pink lighting on, my crystals, my Moldavine, what have you, to get myself feeling good. Because we have the tools to do that, and so often they know what people do every morning. They just wake up and they think about, shit, what's my to-do list for today? I've got to go do my job that I hate my boss, all this whatever, my to-do list. And they just go through life like that. Actually, you get to carve out 30 minutes in your day, whatever, 10 minutes or whatever it is, to focus on better thinking thoughts. Because just because you think it doesn't mean it's going to be true, so you have the power to choose.
Love that.
You know?
So when we first spoke as well, you mentioned about counseling therapy, I think it was. So what is counseling therapy? Because I've never heard of that. So how can that kind of help us call in our manifestations?
Yeah, so part of my spiritual journey, I trained to be a counsellor as well, and I love to learn with that. I love to use EFT with this too, because one of the things that I learned through my course and stuff was actually that we get to choose, our thoughts. And actually, with counselling, and I've had therapy myself too, and it's such a great tool that we can honour the negativity, we can honour, like I said to you before, we don't have to be perfect, and we can honour, and this is why I love tapping as well. I tap every single morning, and also about the day if I need to, on specific things, on manifestation, or, if I'm not feeling too great, I love, so I say, the fact that with EFT, and like other practices, within manifestation or attraction is that we get to say, you know what, yeah, I do feel like I don't deserve this, or even though I feel I'm not ready, even though I feel less than, even though I don't feel gorgeous right now, I accept myself, I love myself, and I forgive myself. And that's like counseling therapy, right? Like, actually, yeah, you know what, I don't. This is how I feel, but I have the power to change that. But I'm acknowledging it too, because sometimes I feel like when I first started out with law of attraction, I don't know if you can agree with this, that was like, oh yeah, I need to be positive all the time. I can't think anything bad because bad things are going to happen. Oh my god, get out of my mind, I don't think it.
You just want to keep your vibe as high as possible, don't you?
Yeah, actually, now we're human. Like, well, I like to think that. I read this really cool quote. I say all the time that I think it's something like pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, actually, you know what, things are going to happen to you, and we can acknowledge that. And be like, hey, you know what? This is how I feel. Where is that coming from? Where have I learned that? But when I was going back and dating again, I was like scared to put myself out there. Well, why is that? Well, because of situations in the past. But actually, I get to decide who I am now, and who I am is beautiful. I love myself who I am now, and I'm going to attract loving partners and loving relationships. I was speaking to a friend of mine. I always attract, this sort of person. I said, well, you're saying that, you're manifesting it, actually you have attracted that because that was who you were in the past, and you're doing the work, honey. So you get to decide again who you want to attract, you know what I mean? And then also taking inspired action,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
100%. So if I said to you, you could go back in time and tell your younger self one bit of information, it could be advice, could be information, what would you tell them?
I would say to them, because I get so emotional today thinking about this sort of stuff. I think it's the full moon energy that, and I've been doing a lot of inner child work. I did like a really ace inner child meditation where I visualise my inner child and I go up to them and I hug them and I tell them what they need to hear. And it's been so life changing. It really has. I don't know if you've ever tried it. It's so good. I do it all the time, especially when I need it. Because I'd say to them, you know what, you are enough, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Basically, you know what I mean? You can do and be and achieve anything you want to. You get to write your own story. You get to be unique, fabulous, colourful, whatever you want to be, because you're born to be different. And that's okay. You don't need to be anybody else. We all have it within us, and we spend so often trying to fit in and play small and all this bullshit stuff. And actually, it really doesn't matter. Be you, do you, inspire others to do that too. Because when you do that, you attract people on your vibe, on your wavelength. And but that is it, I guess. Yeah,
100%. Well, Jack, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I've learned loads there.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm really grateful.
No, thank you. And I will pop all of Jack's links in the show notes for this episode as well. So if anyone does want to get in touch with him, you can click in the show notes and find your way to his website and all of his socials. But yes, if you have enjoyed this episode, please leave me a review, or you can rate, or you can subscribe, whatever you feel called to do. And I will see you all next Friday for another episode of Canny Crystals, the podcast. Thanks very much, guys. Bye. Come and join me in the Manifest with Mart community. For just £10 a month, you'll get exclusive access to my app, and you'll join all the other beautiful souls in the Canny community, where each day you'll be held accountable to making your dreams and desires come to fruition. You'll also be set daily and weekly challenges. There's a chat room built in so you can talk to people in real time, and you can also pop over any questions that you have in the Q&A forum, and I'll answer them for you. It's changing people's lives, and we've already had so many people manifesting things in the first 2 weeks alone. Each new moon, I'll also be going live within the group on a face-to-face video to help you get the most out of the lunar cycles, as well as answer any burning questions that you have. And these live meetups are so powerful, and everyone in the group has had nothing but praise for the safe space that we share. There are very limited spaces for this community, however, just to ensure that I can place my focus on you and nurture you into the ultimate manifester. So if you'd like a spot, please be quick and reserve your seat now. Head to cannycrystalsacademy.co.uk and choose the Manifest with Mart option, where you can get instant access, and what's more, you'll also get access to all of the past recordings and chats too. Join now and start living the life of your dreams.